as my Parkinson's disease got worse, I gave up painting. I genuinely didn't believe I could paint. I virtually gave up wargaming, really. I had other people throwing dice for me and moving figures because I was embarrassing myself, I thought. So I didn't like even trying to have a game. I would watch or try, but I would ask other people to do things. I want to go over there, can you move them for me? So I didn't want to knock people's figures over. I didn't want to knock scenery over. I'd throw a dice and it'd go woo, end up on somebody else's table. But thanks to inspiration that I got from the Parkinson's nurse and physiotherapist that the National Health Service provide, all that changed. I'll tell you how. It's me, Galen. Galen's got Parkinson's. So, how did it change? Well, first of all, I learned some physical exercises. We did this thing called Power Up, and you do lots of exercises. And then you go and have coffee and get inspirational chats. So one of the exercises was just this. Just make a really hard fist and just go, but do it 20 times if you can. And if it starts to get hard, throw it in, get it going. And it protects, it brings the shaking down. Well, it'll start again in a bit, but enough. Second thing was I got my tablets better balanced, and the third thing was I started going to the gym. Then I thought, I know what I can do. I can buy some old figures and have a look at them. I'll buy them ready painted. So I went to eBay, used figures, and I thought, I'll use like my squats. I could sit, what have I got any squats? And they had. I thought, I'll buy a squat. I only bought one. So I bought a squat, and when he came, he was painted, but he had bits missing. Like just chips on his hat. He meant to have a green helmet, this fella, and you could see silver through it. You're war gamers, you know what I mean. Probably you can't on these 3D printed things. I don't know what happens to them. Things snap off completely. But anyway, in the Holden days, when I were a lad, things were metal, and they were all chippered. So I went, I can mend them. So I got some green paint. And I painted them. And even though I was shaking, it didn't matter, because it was a bit like, there used to be a television programme in the 60s called The Golden Shot with Bob Monkhouse. And a guy called Bernie, who used to fire a crossbow. Bernie the bolt. And the contestants were blindfolded, bear with me. And they had to aim this crossbow while they were blindfolded like that. But they had another contestant who was watching. And when they thought it was over the target, they'd go, fire! And that was it. So I was a bit like that. I was shaking, my hand was shaking. And eventually, every now and again, I'd go over, in. And sometimes I'd hit and sometimes I'd miss. And if I missed, if I went for a green helmet and I hit him in the middle of the face, then I had to get flesh out and I had to dot it on his face. And gradually, over time, I came up with a system. So what my system is this, and I've got some videos that I can link this to. I've done a few of these from start to finish, so I'll do them at the end. I'm using yellow, so I'll get the darkest yellow. Because I use foundry paint. This is not a plug for foundry. They're not paying me anything. It's just what I use. I use foundry paint. When you buy foundry paint, you buy yellow. You get dark, medium, and light, and they're all the same yellow, but they're in those tones, shades, whatever they are. So I paint them yellow. And I start at the top and go to the bottom. So he's got a black hat, paint his hat black. He's got brown hair, paint his hair brown. Inevitably, having painted the hair dark brown, when I do the dark flesh, I smudge on the dark brown. And when it's dry, I get the medium one and I do it again. But this time, I'm not trying to paint it. This time what I do is, where the brown from the hair is smudged on the black, I just try and touch that up. Then I get the lightest one, and with doing the most control I possibly can, I do the same. So I'm just looking on the black, only where the brown is smudged on it. And on the hair, only where the flesh is smudged on it. and so on. Eventually you end up with a figure that's 99% done. There might be odd little bits, so you can just go back then and just work on those odd bits. So that's the system. That's number one. Number two, get your mates to do it. Get your mates to do it. Say, hey Stu, Roger, just figure they're painting for me. Oh, okay. And because your mates are kind and lovely, they do. So that's nice. So that's another way of getting your figures painted. That's not the way I recommend, because you don't get the same pleasure out of it. But you do get your figures painted. But so it's worth mentioning. Number three is things like washers and dry brushing, because you can do them with a shaky hand. I've been working on some undead. I haven't done the base yet, but you'll get the general idea. So this fella, I painted him with a primer, and then I inked him, and then I dry brushed him, and then I inked him with a sort of eerie Citadel ink, and then I picked out the green War Paints Fanatic Data System Glow. That was the last thing, and that wasn't dry brushing. That was squirt it on my brush and go oh, 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 and it hit and miss. And then I'll put a good base on. I'd probably have a look at him and think, well, that could have been nicer. Usually I go over that with the ink, because I like that. And it can run, it gets all eerie. Works great for skeletons, and works great for raggedy Herberts. It don't work so good for a French old guard. But it works well for peasants. Really, between those things, I managed to get enough painting wargaming done, and it's excited me and got me back to painting. That's it, really. That's what I do. So if you've got something and you think, oh no, I can't paint, I'm all broke, then yeah, okay, I'm sorry about that. Well, give it a try. Don't worry about what you can't do, worry about what you can. And remember, and a lot of people say this, nothing is impossible except opening a can of beans with a banana. Ta-ra, Chuck.